Thomas C. Bailey Sr. was born in 1921 in Hartford, Connecticut. During his childhood and teenage years, he lived through what is now known as the Great Depression. Life was difficult throughout his childhood, as it was for many Americans, and he held several jobs from an early age to help and support his family. After graduating from high school in 1942, he enlisted in the United States Army 4 months following the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was moved from training camp to training camp, and eventually arrived in Lakeville, Florida, where he became a chemical warfare officer. Not long after arriving in Lakeville, he was transferred to the Royal Air Force Gas Academy in Great Britain, where he and his companions completed their chemical warfare training by being subjected to poisonous gas while wearing rubber suits. Tom volunteered to go over during D-Day, and experienced the combat firsthand with the British as a paratrooper. He was also present during the preliminary Battle of the Bulge, before he and his regiment were sent up to Bastogne to protect it from attack. He was later given the Presidential Unit Citation Medal, in honor of his extraordinary heroism during this battle. He was among the group that liberated Dachau as well, but he was uninvolved in the massacre that occurred thereafter. He would later be left in charge of a group of Hitler Youths after advancing into Germany, and was threatened with a court-martial if he lost even just one of the boys. The war had begun to calm down after this bit, and Tom was eventually sent home to Hartford. Before leaving, he was inspected by Dr. Jerry Brandt, whom he would meet again later on in his life and become good friends with. When Tom got home, he was confused and volatile for a while, constantly apologizing to his friends and family for his behavior. He would go on to take his brother's advice and attended St. Bonaventure University in Allegheny, New York. After college, Tom got a job at Merrill Lynch, where he would meet his future wife, Joan. Her father got Tom a job at an investment firm known as Wertheim & Co. He then moved to New Haven sometime around 1955, and only a short time before he was to be married, Tom was called back into service to go to Korea. Before he was deployed and sent away from home, however, Tom was honorably discharged. For a period of time, Tom worked solely off of commissions, and would go for 2 months between paychecks. He described the 60s as a period in which America had started to pick up, and was of the opinion that the civil rights movement and its leaders were necessary and instrumental in providing a voice to those who did not have very much. While he did express his clear disapproval towards communism, he believed it was a mistake to antagonize the Russians as much as they did as the Cold War period ensued. Tom also believed Korea and Vietnam were both mistakes at this point as well, a unique perspective during the height of McCarthyism and monolithic communism. Another point in which he diverged from public opinion was in that of his least and favorite presidents. While he said Nixon was his least favorite president, he called him a good man who just got mixed up in the wrong kinds of things. He also called Reagan his second favorite president, after admitting that he was too heavy-handed in his dealings with the Soviets, and said JFK was his favorite president because he was Irish. Thomas C. Bailey Sr. clearly led an interesting and at times difficult life, yet he has always remained grateful for what he has. He is now 93 years old and lives in Yarmouthport, Massachusetts. While he will always remain a war hero and valuable American citizen, Tom lives a much more lax life today, and is a happy husband, father, and grandfather to his loved ones.